But somebody asked a very interesting question, so I want to talk about it. It's a bit complicated question, but do you remember last week? Are we recording? Yeah, Hilchot Tefillin. So we're just going to do a small disclaimer on Tefillin, and then we're going to start the new Halachot of B'ezrat Hashem, Netilat Yadayim. What did we say if somebody drops his Tefillin? What's the Halacha?
They fast.
Or fast?
They fast.
No, you give zakah.
They fast or give zakah for a meal's worth.
Give zakah.
For a day's meals worth.
Okay, so let's get this clear. I said this maybe last week it was, maybe 2 weeks ago. I think I said this last week. Tefillin. If tefillin falls on the floor, you fast. If a Sefer Torah falls on the floor, you fast. If you are ill or you're an old man or you can't fast, then you give tzedakah. If you're young and you're healthy, you fast. Now the question I was asked was different.
Do you fast?
So it's not that simple. What?
But do you fast from the time you dropped the tefillin?
Okay.
Or the following day, which is the complete or 24 hours?
Okay, so very good. You're going to ask a very good question. Does anyone know the answer to that? So normally you need to accept the fast the night before. If you put on tefillin in the morning and you haven't eaten or drunken before that, okay, not unless you're not you. Somebody who dropped their tefillin. Or same thing with the Sefer Torah. If the Sefer Torah falls, also you fast. If you can't fast, or you're an old man or a sick person, then you give tzedakah. But if you're young, you fast. That is the halacha. Wait, that's brought down in Mishnah Berurah, Ben Ish Chai, and Rabbi Ovadia. Now, if you've already eaten in the morning, then you just mikabel on yourself. A person would mikabel on himself for the next day to do the fast. Now, that was when somebody drops his tefillin. Now, what happened was the story was like this. This was the question I was asked. Very interesting. He said he wasn't holding his tefillin when they dropped. He put them on the table. And then somebody else came and dropped them from the table to the floor.
The little boy you saw earlier today.
Little boy. Yeah. Now, what's the halacha? The same was different. Now, I want to say a little bit about the tefillin. So first of all, like this, there's different halachot of what actually falls on the floor. What happens if it didn't fall on the floor? If it fell on a chair, you need to fast. What happens if they fall and they're in their bag? They're in a tefillin bag. The tefillin bag falls. Do you need to fast? What if it's not in the tefillin bag? It's in the tefillin box. Do you need to fast? So it gets a little bit more complicated, but I'm going to try and make it clear because I looked into it today. And this is brought down. This is Piskei Teshuvot. This is all different halachic issues about. Here it looks up about tefillin. So I want to start first of all about a few things. If it's in a bag, okay? If it's in a bag and it falls in the bag, even if it's in a tefillin bag, you don't fast. There's no fasting for falling in the bag. It's only if the tefillin itself falls on the floor. And if you drop it from your hand, if it falls from your hand, if it's on the table and you push it off with your hand, that's also called you pushing it off. But even if it falls in the bag, then nobody fasts, just if it's tzedakah. If it falls onto a chair, you don't fast. You give tzedakah. If it falls on the floor and you see it on the floor, you don't need to fast. But the person who pushed it off needs to fast. He needs a tikkun.
Really?
Yeah. Why is that? Because he dropped it. There's one big difference between tefillin and Sefer Torah. If you see the Sefer Torah falling on the floor, even if you didn't drop it, the whole synagogue fasts.
So if you had your back turned, if the Torah falls on the floor and you happen to be looking out the window, but you're in the room, you don't fast.
Okay, so that's a bit.
And they pick it up. They pick it up before you turn around.
If the person is falling out on the floor, holding the Sefer Torah, and he stopped it from touching the floor, then you don't fast. But if part of it, even one side of the Sefer Torah, in its case, touches the floor, whoever sees it on the floor fasts. But your tefillin, if you see somebody else's tefillin on the floor, you don't fast. Even if it's your tefillin, you don't fast. Only the person who dropped it, he's the one who fasts. Now, even then, it's only if it's not in the bag. If it's in the bag,
Even in the
you
case?
don't fast. Okay, so what about in the case? So now in the case, it depends how it fell in the case. Now there's some cases which cover the whole tefillin from the bottom and the top. That is enough to be a protected cover if it lands on the case. However, the tefillin shel yad and the tefillin shel rosh has a knot. The knot of the yud and the knot of the daled, that is like the kedusha of tefillin, like the shin. If that part falls on the floor, then it's like the whole tefillin fell on the floor. So if you see on the floor, it depends if it's in the case, what part of the case touched the floor. Really, what part of the tefillin touched the floor. If it's the side of the case, then you don't fast. If it's the other side, then it will be machloket. And this is actually a minhag de Rabbanan. So for a person, if it's difficult for him to fast, then he could do tzedakah. Now, in our case, if it was a child that pulled it off, so it should be the child that needs a tikkun, but you can't ask the child to fast. Child doesn't do fasting. So what would he say in this situation? Also to do tzedakah. And also it depends. If it fell in the case, then the child doesn't need to do anything. Just to give tzedakah. Now, I heard this question today, and today is Erev Ta'anit Yasara B'Tevet. So if somebody, let's say he would need to fast, let's say if it was him and he fell on the floor without a case, and he's young and he can't fast, does he need to fast? Well, tomorrow is anyway a fast. So can he tomorrow do the double and make a fast tomorrow? Or would he need to fast separately another day?
So he can fast double. One
day
for two. 1 day for two.
So
because he can't fast 2 days in a row.
No, but why maybe do a fast on Sunday, catch up on Sunday. Fast tomorrow, eat Shabbat on Sunday. So in fact, you're right. The Mishnah Berurah says, and this is what I think, and this is my Halacha Psak. The Mishnah Berurah says in Hilchot Shabbat that a person who fasts on Shabbat, what happens if a person has a bad dream on Shabbat, and he wants to do Tanit Chalom. Okay, there's 3 specific dreams. If somebody sees them, he needs to fast. And I'm not going to tell you because maybe that'll make you dream of them at night. But these are 3 things that if you dream of them, you do a fast on Shabbat. It says the Halacha, if you fast on Shabbat, you need to fast again on Sunday because of the Avera of Bitul Oneg Shabbat. You didn't have your Chabin on Shabbat, you did an Avera not enjoying your Shabbat. You need to do another Tikkun. That means it's very strange Halacha because you're supposed to fast on Shabbat and fast it again just for fasting on Shabbat. There, the Biur Halacha says if the next day is a Shiva Sabbat Tammuz or it's a fast day, then that can double up as your backup fast. You don't have to fast another 2 days. Which would mean, because it's only a Tanit de Rabbanan, which is a chiyuv for minhag, you can use it as a double up for the Tanit. I hope you got that. If you didn't understand it, basically what it means is that tomorrow, if somebody needed to fast for the tefillin, if they're anyway fasting tomorrow, they can have kavanah. There should be kapara for them for the tefillin. And together with that, give tzedakah, and that would be enough. They don't need to fast another separate day. But they should have kavanah for that kapara. That's what I was saying in this example, and give tzedakah as well. And I would say,
how come we don't have a second fast after a Yom Kippur when we fasted on Shabbat?
Very interesting question, Joe, Meir. Meir asking, when we fast on Shabbat, we don't have a separate fast. So I would assume that is a Shabbaton. Kippur is like an elevate. I don't know the answer, but I'm just saying now. But I'm just suggesting. Kippur is Shabbaton. It's like an elevated level of kedusha. So you haven't been vatel the oneg Shabbat, and also it could be that there's a different oneg of Yom Kippur. He says, "Lo hayu yamim tovim leYisrael keTu b'Av v'Yom Kippur." It's it's really a happy day that you've been forgiven for all your sins. So that could be enough of an oneg Shabbat that you fulfill the oneg Shabbat from that. But Tanit Chalom, you have to make up for that. You didn't have your oneg Shabbat. That was just suggested answer, but I like your question, man. The other thing I want to say is if somebody happened to that tefillin, so a person should become.
If someone what? Sorry.
I'm talking about the person who dropped his tefillin or saw his tefillin on the floor. So you should do some kind of chizuk, for kavod for the tefillin. How do you say chizuk? Strengthen is acceptance of kedusha for tefillin. So I'm going to just read you a bit of halachot. Maybe study a bit of halachot tefillin to take more care of his tefillin that really shouldn't fall on the floor. There is a certain kedusha to the understand how valuable is tefillin. If you had a diamond ring or expensive jewelry, you'd keep it in a special box, keep it in a special a drawer, in a safe. You don't leave it lying around on the table. Maybe it'll fall down, maybe it'll break, especially if it's expensive or it's crystal. Tefillin is the highest level of kedusha that you have, that you put on your body. It's the keter of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you're putting on your head. It's your connect between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not only that, even the bag that you put the tefillin in has a kedusha. What happens if your bag gets ripped and you want to get a new one? Or let's say, your wife buys you for your birthday, Joe, I want to buy you a mahudar, a leather bag with your name on it. Fancy. Okay, now we can do the old one. You're going to chuck it. Are you allowed to put it in the bin?
No.
No, it's tashmishe kedusha. It's like the box of the Sefer Torah. You don't have to throw it away. Where did the kedusha come from? From the tefillin. That makes the bag. It's just a bag. Even the plastic, of the bag, it says you shouldn't throw away in derech bizayon. You can put it in the plastic bag, which is the bag, which is just tashmish dish tashmish. Let me explain. You've got the tefillin itself, which is kedusha. The box of the tefillin that holds the tefillin is also tashmishe kedusha. Now, because inside the tefillin bag, the straps and the knots touch the bag, so the bag is also tashmish de kedusha. You're not allowed to throw it away. It needs geniza. The bag which is inside sometimes another plastic or another bag, there is tashmish de tashmish. It's a bag for the bag. That you're not to throw away, but derech kavod. So you see,
if you put your tefillin in a plastic bag, if you got your tefillin in their bag.
When I mean a plastic bag, I don't mean like a plastic shopping Tesco bag. I mean a plastic, like a nice nylon.
Say you put it in a Tesco bag. It was in its bag, in the tefillin bag, in a Tesco bag. Can you throw away that Tesco bag after? And if you do you need to do it with kavod?
No, yes, you can, because that's already tashmish de tashmish. Only the second layer that touches it. The first tefillin bag is the first layer that needs to be buried. The second layer needs to be disposed of respectfully.
So plastic bag.
The third layer that can be thrown away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the second, we put your tefillin bag in a Tesco bag.
And it doesn't have like a nylon cover to it?
Oh, no.
No. So then it depends. So then that depends. That depends if that's if you have a regular.
Just this.
Yeah.
No plastic.
In a plastic bag. So
there's no plastic on it.
No, so then you're getting into trouble here because that's already tashmish de tashmish. So it can be disposed. It doesn't need gniza because it's only tashmish de tashmish. But when you throw it away, you need to be thrown away respectfully because it's got your tefillin in it, and especially if you've had it for a few days. Maybe that's a good reason they should have a special bag for your tefillin bag or put it in a special drawer.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all we have time for today. So I'm just gonna